Then I think for upcoming projects, we'll go with a simpler approach to simpler projects. Okay, so I have this notebook over here whereby we will be creating a chatbot with custom knowledge base. So what does the custom knowledge base mean? So last time as I was ending the session, I showed you how ChatGPT works and how it can maybe answer our questions, right? So today I'm going to show you how we can create our own bot which has a custom knowledge base. And the first thing we need to do is we need to create a GitHub repo with this knowledge base, right? With some sample conversations. So over here, I have some I have a repo called ChatGPT medical data. And for this GPT medical data, we have the data folder. And inside the data folder, we have two text files. So I have interview1.txt file, and I also have interview2.txt file. So if I open interview1.txt file, you can see what we have over here. So we have interviewer patient. So here you can see something like, thank you for speaking with me today. Can you tell me about your recent experience with malaria? So things like that, whereby the patient will be discussing the kind of symptoms he is having. So based on malaria, then we have interview2.txt, where we have the doctor and a patient discussing some few stuffs. So hello, how can I help you today? I've been having a really bad headache for the past couple of days and I'm not sure what's causing it. Then this conversation goes on up to here. So if your symptoms persist or worsen, you do this and this. So what I'll do first is I'll clone this repo to my Colab notebook. So I'll copy that link, go back to my Colab notebook. Then also I think I can share this with you guys so that you can have access to what I'm doing. So I'm sharing this in the chat section. So now you have access to my notebook. So here, let me go through the text that is over here explaining this notebook. So this notebook has all the code you need to create your own chatbot with custom knowledge base using GPT-3. So follow the instructions for each step, then run the code sample. So in order to run the code, you'll need to press the play button near each code sample. So for example, if we have a look at this code cell, we have this play button over here, which allows you to run the cell that is over here. So the first thing we need to do is to download the data with our custom knowledge base. And I've shown you how the data with our custom knowledge base looks like. So it's a conversational data. So we are going to have it clone. Then I'm going to paste in that GitHub link. So let me connect my Colab notebook, then run this code. Okay, so it should take a minute or so to run this. So if you check here, before this code runs, we had the sample data file only. But now, since we've run the git clone part, we have the data folder also present, which has the interview01.txt file and interview02.txt file. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to install the dependencies that we are going to use. And for this project, I had said that we are going to use the Llama model to do this and the LangChain model. So these two libraries allow you to read text from documents that you upload. So the LangChain model allows you to pass in documents to the GPT-3 model, and it can be able to answer you depending on the content that is in that document. So let's run this code cell to install these two libraries that we need. So it's going to take a few seconds to run. And once it's done, we can proceed on. So as this is running, I can comment them out since I want my notebook to be it. So we have all the requirements now satisfied. So I can run this cell again to clear the output that is over here so that we can have a clean notebook. Yep. Then next, we are going to define the functions that will make this model run, or the functions that will allow us to interact with this bot. Okay, so the first thing we'll have over here is the importation of a few libraries that we need. Then we are going to also import from LangChain, we are going to import OpenAI and a few other libraries. Okay, then here we are going to construct our index. So this will be like the construction of our main model, right? Whereby if we head over to the ChatGPT website, okay, so if we open the Open API website and maybe look at text completion. So let's go to some of the example models that we have here. Then we can go to like try the SQL translate model. Yeah. So I'll have to log in first. So let me log in. So if we check something like the SQL translate and open this model in the playground, you can see over here we have a few hyperparameters that we can tune. So for example, we have things like the maximum length, we have things like the temperature, we have things like the model, yeah, we have things like the frequency penalty, things like that. So over here, where we have these function, so we are defining those things. So max input size, number of outputs. So I think number of outputs should also be here. Then max chunk overlap, chunk size. So these are some of the hyperparameters we're going to specify. Then after we've specified the parameters that we need, we define our prompt helper. Yeah, so the prompt helper will like pass in the hyperparameters that we've specified up here to the model. Then next we define our large language model. So we'll have our LLM predictor. So LLM stands for large language model. So we'll have our LLM predictor. And if you've been doing like the creation of machine learning models, you know what this is. So it's like the instantiation of a machine learning model, whereby we pass in our LLM predictor. Then we select the Open AI model that we want. So after selecting the Open AI model that we want, we specify the temperature, and the temperature controls like how, so you can see it controls the randomness. So if the temperature is set as at high, then the model becomes a little bit creative, and if it's set at a lower number, then the model becomes more repetitive. So it will share like things that it only knows. Then here we also select the model that we want. So here you can see we have the text DaVinci 03, which is the best model as of now, the best GPT-3 model. We have other models over here that we can also select from, but I chose to like go with the text DaVinci 03 model. So these are the most important parts. And down here we have things that do the model fitting, and yeah, and you save like the results in a JSON file. Okay, then lastly, I create a function that allows you to index the index.json file. So the file that has your trained document data. And what we do here is so if you have your trained index.json file, then we proceed on and respond to user questions based on the data that we have in the index.json file. Okay, so we can run this to create our functions, then we can proceed on to the next part. Okay, so the next part will be to set OpenAI API keys. So we will need OpenAI API keys to like run this project. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to open this link that is in the shared notebook. Then once you have that, so you'll have to head over to your personal account, then click on View API Keys. So over here, I have my API key called the GPT medical data, and you will need some cache to run these models. So if you've never created your OpenAI account before, so you can create one and yeah, check on your usage. So for me, I've only utilized 0.08 of these, and my free trial has already expired, but don't worry about that. So I have another key that I can use. Yeah, so and then we will store this key in our environment. So let's run this, and I'm going to paste in my API key there. So I have my API key pasted in, so I can proceed on. So now we are ready to over here. So if we check our root directory, you will note that we don't have that file over here yet, but we need it generated for us to like over here to construct that index. So remember, the construct index is a function that we created up here. So we need to take the path for this folder, so the data folder. So I'll copy that. So has access to these free tokens, so my model will be able to run. But if I used the other API key, so if I used this API key that is over here, right? So I will not be able to like run this model. Okay. So let's proceed on. So now after we've yeah, that we have for that file. So just numbers. So the GPT-3 model is working with just numbers here. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to run the Ask AI function, and we are going to ask this AI some questions. So I'll go back to my data folder, then select maybe interview 01, or let me use 02. Then I have a headache. Let's see what the model replies. Can you tell me more about two skills that we are having over here? So let's try and expound on this further. So So what should I say? Where is the pen located? So at the front, getting here. Yes, at the front, then I can say yes. Then this is this bot. So the interviewer is asking if the patient has any questions, asking questions, and maybe who's sharing the responses. So if we were to improve this model, then we will be required to like create more of these files. So the for 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So the more the data we have, the board they can ask something like could I be having malaria? Okay, so you can see it's impossible to answer this question without more information. So malaria is caused by a parasite that is spread through the bite of an infected mosquito. So it is possible to have malaria if you have been bitten by an infected mosquito. However, it is also possible to have a similar symptom due to illness, so it is important to speak with a doctor or get a proper diagnosis. And I think this response is somewhere here in TXT one. But you can see like this text that we are having over here is unique. And unlike the ChatGPT model that, or the ChatGPT website that you've been using, yeah, so this model won't reply to you saying that I am a language based model, I can't, like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So it won't tell you that it can't help you, so it will try to answer the questions based on the data that we've provided to the model. So what you can do is you can like advanced advance this code. So maybe some key points to note is once you've trained these, so once you've created your index.json file, yeah, so once you've created this, so you won't have to like train your model again. So you will have your chatbot that can respond to any questions. So what you'll have to do is just store this index.json file somewhere and ensure this function that we are running over here has access to, not that one, but this second function that we are running over here has access to that index.json file. Then you will be able to like get these kind of outputs. So let's ask another question. So what about TB? So TB is not mentioned in the context information. So it's not possible to answer the question without prior knowledge. So you can see if we haven't provided any information concerning a disease to like this bot, then it won't be able to like answer that question, right? So I think that's all for this project. So at least we've come to like finalize it, and we have something that is much more better than we expected. So this bot that we've created can be able to like answer questions in a human like way. So yeah, so I'll leave it to you guys now to like create more interview scenarios and create more data for the different diseases that we have. Then this model will be able to like, then you can pass in your API keys here, right? And once you've passed in your API keys here, So just go ahead and train your models and run these bots again. And yeah, you can proceed on from there and create like friendly user interfaces whereby people can interact with that bot. Yeah, and maybe you can share your results out there. So that brings us to like the end of this project. So you can copy this code, upload it to your GitHub account, and yeah, showcase what we've done so far. Yeah. So you can, what you'll have to do is improve on the input data files. Yeah, and you'll be good to go. So I see someone has a question. So anyone with a question concerning what has been run here. So hope you guys have understood what I've done here for today. So this code is quite simple. So we are not typing long lines of code, but we are utilizing, yeah, so available resources that have been created for us online. So we are utilizing the pre-created models that are available for us to use online to create our own chatbots. Yeah. So anyone with a question? Okay, so let me share this link again. So I'll share this link also on WhatsApp so that you guys can go this notebook. Okay, so I've shared the notebook with you guys, so hope you can see it.